The 12th Sunday in the ordinary time. The body and blood of Christ. 22nd of June, 2025. Theme: Do this in remembrance of me. I offer the note of Genesis chapter 14 verse 17. It is not impossible that Melchizedek, the Canaanite priest of the supreme God, had found faith in the true God. His offering of bread and wine was undoubtedly a sacrifice of thanksgiving, also known as a communion sacrifice, in which the gifts offered to the divinity were then divided among those present and consumed to signify that human beings are called to table fellowship with God. According to Hebrew exegetes, these two personages prefigure David, descendant of Abraham, and distant successor of Melchizedek on the throne of Jerusalem. In blessing Abraham, Melchizedek was blessing David, the instrument of God's conquests who after conquering Jerusalem, made in the center of worship of the Lord. At the same time, and paying homage to Melchizedek, Abraham was paying homage to Jerusalem, the city that the Lord would choose as his own dwelling, and that from that time forward would worship the true God. It is clear that these visions needed to be broadened according to the Psalm 110, verse 4. Melchizedek prefigures Christ, a descendant of David, because only in this new David will kingship and priesthood will be united again as they were long ago in Melchizedek. Moreover, Christ will have an everlasting priesthood, different from the hereditary priesthood that began with Aaron. The letter to the Hebrews, chapter 7, will explain the message of the Psalms, saying that since tithes are paid to a superior, Aaron's action was one of the homage to the priesthood higher than the Israelite temple priesthood. Behind the veil of the ancient priest king, we are therefore to discern the person of Christ, who in virtue of his own sacrifice that will be completed in Jerusalem, is the true source of the blessing bestowed on Abraham, that is his victory and liberation of prisoners, in all the victories of the people of God. For this reason, the Christian tradition sees in Melchizedek's sacrifice of bread and wine a sign and prediction of the Eucharist, which is a thanksgiving for the redemption wrought by Christ and a pledge of victory for believers who remain in union with Him. Genesis chapter 14 to 18. Salem, according to the entire Jewish tradition, is none other than Jerusalem. This very old Canaanite city was already inhabited before 3000 BC and is explicitly mentioned in Egyptian texts beginning with the start of the 19th century BC. God Most High in Hebrew, El Elyon, a compound name made up of two Phoenician Canaanite names for the supreme divinity. The writer sees in Melchizedek a worshipper of the true God. In First Corinthians 11, verse 23-26, we read the earliest New Testament account of the institution of the Eucharist, and here we have echoes of Melchizedek's sacrifice of bread and wine in thanksgiving for Abraham's victory, as a foreshadowing of Jesus' victory over sin and death. Our Gospel for today, taken from Luke chapter 9, 11-17, presents what I think a similar picture to what we see in our first reading. Here, Jesus is a victor, king, and priest who heals and provides hospitality with bread and fish, a foreshadowing of his giving of himself in bread and wine, to be the food for all after his death. Resurrection and ascension, he is victor and king, because he is triumphantly valued more for what he can give, healing, than because they see in him the one sent by God. He sees to their needs, teaches, heals, and feeds, because this is his Father's will, showing them the works of the kingdom, and pointing them out to the ones he will leave in charge of the Father's continued work on earth. Jesus is the priest who blesses the bread and the fish. In the Spirit's power, and his disciples distribute the food. Jesus is more than king and priest. He does the work of his Father by multiplying the food in the power of the Spirit of God. Here shows Jesus fought the works of the kingdom, so he is priest, prophet, and king. For reflection discussion, have you experienced any further enlightenment regarding your understanding of this piece as a result of reading this commentary? How will this affect your devotion to the Blessed Eucharist?